Okay, so good morning and welcome to Dunakumpenling. This is the third in our series of 4 classes on some of the topics from the 16 guidelines. So this is a meditation course that was developed by the Foundation for Passion and Wisdom. So it's a FPMT affiliate. And if you haven't been here before, then the format is we're going to do some meditation, and then we're going to give I'll give a little bit of a talk about the topic today, which is gratitude. And then we will do some breakout discussions, and then a guided meditation on gratitude, and then we'll have a little time for more discussion to share our experiences, and just a little bit of an open Q&A, and then do the dedication. And so we will wrap up around 11:30 or so, and we will have our social event right after class over in the dining room area. So we'll be there for maybe an hour, something like that. Okay, so that's what we're doing today. And what I like to do in order for us all to get to know each other a little bit better is to just go around the room, and if you can just say your name and say something that you're grateful for. So my name is Losang Tendrol, and I'm grateful for Dunakumpenling for being here together with all of you.
My name's Courtney, and I'm grateful for this beautiful autumn day.
Oh,
Ben?
sorry. Oh, that's right. Okay, perfect. My name is Ben, and I'm very thankful to be here with you guys this morning.
My name is Natalie. I'm grateful to be alive today.
My name is Jennifer, and you took the words out of my mouth.
Yeah,
So I'll say I'm grateful to have a teacher like Honey Tendrol.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Javier, and then you took the words out of my mouth. But in this case, I can say that I'm thankful to be back here after many years.
Oh, okay. Oh, welcome.
My name's Phelan, and I'm grateful for everyone being alive today.
Okay.
I'm John. Today I'm grateful for Ben taking over the Dharma show.
The volunteering, yes. Joyce.
Hi, my name's Joyce, and of course I'm grateful for everybody here and Connie and Danielle. But I'm also really grateful to have John McGillette as my friend. What's up with me?
Love that. That's sweet. Nice.
My name is Ernesto, and I'm grateful to wake up this morning.
All right.
Hi, my name is Jeannie, and I'm most grateful for my children.
Oh, Jeannie, right? Jeannie.
My name is Steve. I guess I'm grateful to be alive today.
Okay, we're all good. So online we have Cher, I'm letting go. Courtney, Jill, Karen, Mindholder, and Rhythmic Freedoms. Everybody's hiding their names, but I know your names. I'm not going to say them out loud. No, maybe this is important to be. Okay. So we'll begin with just a little bit of a meditation to just help us put our heads back on our bodies, relax into our company. So wherever you are, just sit comfortably with your back straight, shoulders back, head relaxed, shoulders down. Hands in your lap. Taking a minute to just relax into the silence. the fragrance of the incense in the room, the warmth, the radiance of the Buddha's presence. And taking a few relaxing breaths. And then think to yourself, may I be happy and free from suffering. May I treasure the extraordinary happiness that arises from loving all living beings. More than I love myself. May I be content with what I have. And not feel the need for more. May I rejoice with all my heart in the virtues and good deeds of others, as well as my own. May I never give up helping others and never lose hope, but continue to work courageously for positive change, no matter what it takes. May we be happy and free from suffering. May we treasure the extraordinary happiness that arises from loving all others more than we love ourselves. May we all be content with what we have. And not feel that craving for more and more. May we all rejoice from the depths of our hearts in our own good deeds and the good deeds of others. And may we never give up helping each other. May we never lose hope, even when times are tough. And may we continue to work courageously for positive change, no matter what sacrifices may be involved. Okay. So for those of you, as a quick review, we have share. Talking about the 16 guidelines. So there are 4 categories: how we think, how we act, how we relate, and how we find meaning. And so for this particular series, we're focusing on how we relate to each other, how we care for each other's, and for ourselves. And so we're talking about respect, forgiveness, gratitude, and loyalty. So we've done the first 3, and I'd like to spend a few minutes just to explain the close relationship between these 3: respect, forgiveness, and gratitude, and how they touch on some of these other areas. So we're going to begin with that. So in order to make this a little bit more tangible, so to speak, what I'd like you to do is, when we talk about the sufferings of samsara, the mental and physical discomforts and unease and dissatisfaction that's part and parcel of being born in samsara, right? Samsara meaning this state of existence that we find ourselves in right now, here as human beings, but then also as, animals and all of the other realms of existence in the Buddhist thinking. So just as a very simple example, what I would invite you to do is to just take your hands and put them together somewhat comfortably, whether it's behind your back. So we're thinking that we're in prison. I mean, we're in shackles, right? So pretend that your hands are tied together in shackles. So behind your back or in front of you. And I'm going to talk about respect, forgiveness, and gratitude while we have our hands in that position. Okay, so respect. Respect is the quality that affirms our faith, our reliance. In the Buddhist sense, right? We're respecting the teachings. We're respecting the authentic teachings of the Buddha as the understanding, as the path to escape from all forms of mental and physical suffering, right? It's the door that liberates us from suffering. And so for those of us who have engaged in these Buddhist prayers, and so we'll recall, or if you do sadhana as practice, right? So a really big part of this practice is naming all of the lineage masters as a way to honor the authenticity of the teachings, and as a way to feel that sense of connection and of receiving something that has been handed down, for hundreds of years, for centuries, for thousands of years, actually. And so there's a sense that something very, very precious is being transmitted to us, and that we ourselves, are able to carry on and preserve this beautiful tradition. It's a living tradition, is what I'm trying to say, right? And so the teachings, such as we'll be discussing today and embodying through our practice and our care and consideration for others, these teachings are just as relevant today as they were, when the Buddha originally taught so many years ago. And so as we practice, as we learn, as we study, as we meditate, then a good part of this is actually the gratitude. It's the respect and the gratitude for all the effort that so many people have put into sharing and preserving the teachings, right? Everything from translating the teachings, right? You think of all those people who had to walk from Tibet all the way to India to request, teachers to come. And then they would, request translators because the texts were, of course, originally in India. They had in Sanskrit. They had to be translated into Tibetan. There were no dictionaries. You couldn't just Google stuff. And it was extremely difficult. And then, many, many, many people died going both ways. Tibetans who went to India, many, many of them passed away on the trip or once they arrived in India. And likewise, when people from India, the great scholars, traveled back to Tibet to teach and to share their knowledge, right? Many of them died that way. So many, many sacrifices to bring the teachings, to preserve the teachings. So respect and admiration is for people who we look up to, right? So we naturally feel humble in their presence. Again, there's a sense of having somebody to depend on, to rely on, somebody who we can trust, right? We trust their words. And so this can include people who we know personally, right? Like our teachers, our parents, or even people who we don't know personally, but we're just happy to know that they are on the earth with us, walking the earth with us, right? Or that they walked the earth with us in the past, in some sense, right? So it's somebody who shares their knowledge with us, who serves as a role model, who offers service to our community. So it's kind of a relationship of giving and receiving. And so we honor and respect others as being equal to us and also wanting happiness, also wanting to be free from suffering. So that there's that respect based on the commonality of human nature. And we respect their right to fulfill their highest potential, which is to achieve enlightenment, and that we can all do so because we all have the same Buddha nature. And so the action associated with this feeling of respect is to in Buddhist tradition, it would be to prostrate, to make offerings as a way of showing our respect. So similarly, gratitude is expressed or is felt in relation to receiving something from somebody, right? So gratitude is, you're thankful for something because maybe somebody helped us solve a problem, they helped us fulfill a need, right? They take care of us and so forth. And so by seeing each and every one as our kind mothers, we thank, our parents, not just our mothers, but our parents for giving us the gift of life, right? And we can see how interdependent our lives are. And so we know that, even on a interpersonal scale, like a family or relationship scale, all the way up to the local scale, local community scale, and then on and on and on, even on a global level, we know that one person's, pain and suffering becomes, on some level, some energetic level, it's everybody's pain, it's everybody's suffering. Right? And then likewise, how one person's or one group's virtuous happiness, becomes a collective happiness, right? When it's shared with others. So, for example, helping DNKL, right? So, I think on next Saturday, right? That's not next Saturday, November 1st, right? We're doing a community event here at the NKL where everybody can come together and help clean up. It's the fall cleanup day, right? So it's a really fun way to do something to help keep Dona Kumpalang's physical environment, looking good. We pick up the leaves, and it's a lot of fun. Okay, so gratitude ranges from very small, random acts of kindness to the big thanks for somebody who's been with us through all of life's ups and downs. Right? And so, it's a habit that we can get into. It's a habit that we can practice that uplifts, our hearts. Right? And so, just think over and over again of all of the people, all of the living beings who support us, all those nameless, faceless people, and other living beings who keep us alive, who nourish us, etc. Right? So I kind of think that I give the example of like, the Academy Awards, like some big award ceremony where you think of people, who have achieved something very, very honored, right? An honored status. They're being rewarded for their achievements. And what do they do when they get up to accept the reward, right? They spend 10 minutes thanking all the people who have helped them get there, right? Because it's, you might be the star, but you only got to be the star because so many people supported you and helped you get there, right? And so for gratitude, and then later on, as we'll talk about a little more than so we're grateful. We can get to the point where we're grateful for people who harmed us, right? So that's a little bit later in terms of our spiritual growth, growing our hearts, right? But we can get to the point where we are extremely grateful for those who harm us, because that's a way for us to grow. And so we offer thanks. And so I think another really good example is Dr. Quain. Anyone heard of him? He's based in Los Angeles. He's a veterinarian who goes and serves the homeless population, the homeless community. And so he'll go up and down Skid Row and he'll visit each homeless person, anybody who is has a pet and needs some veterinary assistance, whether it's a cat or a dog, he'll stop by and examine the animal and give it whatever medication it needs. And then he'll spend some time, talking to the person and, give the person food, whatever the person needs too, right? So he was actually awarded, there was some kind of like little competition for the best, I don't know, animal related charity or something. And so he was awarded, of all of the 10 groups that were there at the award ceremony, he was awarded the first place, right? So he was offered a check for $100,000 for his street vet organization. And he was so humble and so generous and so, respectful and grateful for the other groups that were also represented at the ceremony on the stage, that he said, thank you to all of these other groups, because together we're creating a positive environment and we're helping all of these animals, right? And so rather than keeping the $100,000 just for his group, he said, I'm going to split it 10 ways. And he gave away, $90,000. So I thought that was, really a beautiful example of his generosity. Okay. So if you've had your hands together this whole time, you please release them now, right? And there's a difference in feeling, right? Just think, wow, with respect and forgiveness and gratitude and all of these other beautiful virtues, release from suffering, right? So forgiveness, which is what we talked about last time, forgiveness it's kind of a different feeling from respect and from gratitude, right? So forgiveness makes you think, so instead of receiving something good from others, instead we're granting forgiveness, right? In exchange for receiving harm from others. So it's a very different feeling. And it requires, that generosity of spirit. It requires, mercy. It requires giving people the benefit of the doubt, right? And so we're offering love. We're offering patience. We're offering, generosity, right? So if you look under how we act, honesty, generosity, patience, right? Humility, all of those, they're all in here, okay? And so we practice forgiveness because we all suffer, again, from the same mental diseases of ego grasping, of me, myself, and I. We're all under the control of the same destructive emotions that cause us to harm others and to harm ourselves. We're all just like zooming down the highway, right? Chasing our dreams, dodging the potholes. And so we practice forgiving people's harmful actions without relinquishing, without losing our love for the actor. And so we've all heard this expression, popular expression, forgive the action and forget the intent. So because we respect, honor, and cherish others, we find it easy to forgive them. Right? So like us, nobody is perfect, and we love them despite their imperfections. And so from the 16 guidelines meditation course book, it says, choosing forgiveness is an act of self-liberation. It's a way of setting down the heavy burden of resentment. It's not about forgetting or dismissing harm, but instead about releasing ourselves, right? Releasing ourselves from the grip of destructive emotions, because those are the emotions that bind us to the past, right? It's like a toxic, soup that we're slashing around, and allowing us instead to step into a future unclouded by bitterness, and resentment, right? So this quality arises from the understanding that holding on to anger and pain can harm us as much as the original offense. And it finds its roots in a deep desire for peace, both within ourselves and within our relationships with others. Okay. So instead of being passive, forgiveness is an active, courageous, determination that celebrates our capacity for empathy and love, even in the face of hurt. It acknowledges life's complexities, the fluid nature of relationships, and the wisdom that comes with viewing our experiences through a broader lens. So what about gratitude? So gratitude connects us to others, right? It invites us to celebrate the support, the care, that camaraderie, perhaps, that we both give and receive. It's a two-way street. Gratitude fosters openness, fosters generosity. It helps us to ease tensions and nurture stronger, more harmonious relationships. This quality simplifies our perspective, encouraging us to embrace the natural flow of life rather than resist it. And by acknowledging that we're part of an interconnected web of beings and events, we begin to see life as a shared journey together with others where every experience that we have, whether it's pleasurable and pleasant, or whether it's challenging and difficult, holds the potential for growth and insight. So gratitude gives us that shift in perspective that allows us to, welcome, to be open to any experience as it arises, seeing it, not as categorically, oh no, that's a bad experience, that's going to be a good experience, but instead being able to break through that limited way of thinking and transform anything that arises, turning anything that arises, seeing everything, even if it initially seems difficult, into an opportunity for growth, right? So we're grateful for somebody who, hurts us mentally or physically, who yells at us, who maybe destroys, robs us, whatever it might be. We don't see them as the bad guy, as the enemy, right? Instead, we look inside and we realize that the inner enemy is the one that's causing us to respond with anger. So it helps us identify who the true troublemaker, really is. Okay. So a grateful heart can transform how we experience the world, right? It enriches our mental and emotional well-being. It can strengthen our bonds with others, right? Because if you're grateful to somebody else and they're grateful to you, then for sure, you're going to have that a more special connection, right? Instead of having it a very tentative, superficial relationship, that's easily broken when conflicts arise, when difficult circumstances arise, right? So it helps us build, gratitude helps us build resilience, in the face of difficulty, right? Because gratitude is based on or closely related to trust, right? That's what we're talking about, trust. And when you trust somebody, then you're more likely to have that strength of character, that which then translates into a stronger relationship, with others. If you trust them, then you're going to do things together, you're going to work together. So by recognizing and appreciating the efforts of all of those around us, then we affirm their value. So that's where the respect comes in, which in turn strengthens that trust and mutual care. Right? So all of those come together in a beautiful way. So gratitude isn't about, like I said before, it doesn't necessarily have to be for some really big gesture, really big act, It's really just it's a shift in attitude, a shift in perspective. It's an ability to notice and to treasure what is already present. So by focusing on what we have, being grateful for what we have rather than what we lack, what we don't have, then gratitude opens us to the abundance of life and deepens our connection to its joy and to its lessons. So even in the darkest moments, or when we wake up and you're a little bit sad, we can wake up and be very, very happy that we are alive, right? Like we all said the same thing. We're grateful that we woke up, that we made it through the night, that we opened our eyes. And then continuing along that same line of thought, then you think of all of the wonderful blessings that you have. Think of all the things that are going well for you in life, even if there are other things that are more difficult, right? Then there's always something positive that you can take a minute to think about, and it's worth it, right? Definitely worth it. It's all worthwhile. So just a little recap. So what we've been talking about is how respect and forgiveness and gratitude, how all of these, pillars or these foundational ideas, these guidelines, these feelings, all of these are so important because based on them, we have a sense of closeness for others. These are the key elements for having a sense of community. And based on that foundation, then we're able to interact with others, to interact with even with ourselves, right? That gives us a sense of hope, a sense of courage, a sense of overall optimism, right? If you have respect, forgiveness, and gratitude, these are like life skills that we need to be able to create strong communities. Right? Okay. So, does anybody have anything you'd like to share before we do our breakout groups? Any thoughts about what we've covered so far? Is this something that you think about often, these ideas? Like, do you make a conscious effort to think about respect, forgiveness, gratitude? Is it something that comes up in your life where you're like, oh, that's respect, or oh, I'm feeling grateful?
If anything, one thing I've learned in the past, or in general, we hear about rewiring our brains and how our brain is made for survival, not for happiness.
Yeah.
So instead, providing this teachings and practices, and gratitude being a massive practice to integrate, eventually will help shape and rewire our brain for
Right.
positive.
Right, to get out of fight or flight mode, the survival mode, and instead using the teachings as a way to develop these other more altruistic motivations, right? Right, nurturing love and compassion. Yeah. Done.
Well, I think it's probably a lot to get used to feel gratitude for people that treat you like crap.
Yeah, yeah. It takes a lot of patience and practice. Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
I feel like you can reinforce the bonds you have with people in practice as well, where if we meditate or think about people that were great before, it reinforces that connection.
Right, so it takes a little conscious effort
Yeah.
to grow this capabilities. Yeah, for sure. Joyce?
Sometimes I do wake up in gratitude every day, right? But I've been thinking about that stuff for a long time. And but what I try to do when I journal, I sometimes just do like a 1 through 10 list of things I'm grateful for.
Okay.
And that helps me because once you start doing that, it's easier to get other things,
That's a
But I
great
have
journal.
gratitude, and I do think all this stuff is, the more you think about it, it becomes more second nature. It's been a long time for me, so but I'm older, right? So I've had time to cultivate some of this stuff, but it's hard, and it's also really hard, Ani, to have gratitude in sometimes what we're dealing with in America right now.
Exactly, yeah.
I grapple with that all the time. And I try to help them. I would say I have an angel on one shoulder and devil on the other. Because all of us are on the same boat.
Absolutely.
And we need that unity. But to have gratitude for what we have right now, today, in the moment, is important.
Yeah, and that's where the rejoicing in our own virtuous actions, but the actions that we see of others around us too. Yeah, right. There's a lot of good stuff going on too. It gets drowned out.
Good things.
Yeah.
I feel like the more you make that conscious effort to experience or meditate on compassion and forgiveness, the more you make that conscious effort, the more effortless it becomes, where it almost becomes second nature after you put it into like deep practice
Yeah.
and have dedication for it. Then it just comes naturally. You build it into like your subconscious muscle memory.
Like Javier was saying, right? Yeah, all of you were saying, yeah, practice rewires the brain. Yeah.
Sometimes I think it's easy to forget about even in like your own, at least like my practice, because I'll be like, oh, I'll just focus on analytical meditation. And then I'm just focusing on like, oh, you know, being happy I have a human body. And I completely forget about, oh, how do I, use my gratefulness for my own human body to others? Because I'm just like basically going through the steps.
Uh-huh.
Very self-centeredly.
She's honest.
But you could be going through that meditation, with the underlying motivation of helping others.
Yeah.
Like clean up my act first, then I can be a better service to others.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think it's really true because if in our own families, right, our relationships with friends and family, right, especially if you don't live alone, if you have pets or whatever, right, if you're angry and anxious and scared and full of fear and et cetera, right, then obviously that translates into everybody in the same who has to live with you. They're going to experience that same anxiety and fear, right? Yeah. So I am grateful for everybody who has to deal with me. Everybody who has to put up with me, right? That's a lot. Okay, so you guys will all be grateful. Hey, everybody online, if you're still there, you are going to be grateful because, seriously, Triple and I spent a lot of time trying to get these breakout rooms set up. So I'm sorry we have fewer people online now, I guess, because it was really hard those first two classes. That was, there was all like one big group, so that kind of wasn't not too cool. But now, assuming you guys are all there, you are going to be in breakout groups. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a couple of groups there, 3 groups. And everybody who's in the room, just like we did last time, I appreciate it. Oh, thank you. Thank you for this comment. I will put my chat back up here. Like I'm so bad at Zoom. I'm gonna close that part. Oh, don't click the wrong button. Okay, you're gonna be in trouble. If I close this, would the whole thing close? I don't want to do that. Let's see. Hopefully this doesn't end the session.
No.
Thanks, John. Okay, so stop the share. Oh, no, wait, here. Okay, you guys, here. These are the discussion questions. How does respect show up in your life? And then what that's not the right question. No. I'm sorry. Here we go. Discussion. Here, this looks better, right? What are the benefits of gratitude? What prevents us from feeling grateful? That's a good one. What if others are ungrateful for things that we've done to help them? Right? What do you do if somebody, that's important too, like even on somebody, you've done so much for them, and there's always, a little bit, because of our self-centeredness, there's always that feeling like, like you expect somebody to say thank you, right? And if they don't say thank you, you're like, oh.
But kids know that one.
It's definitely big time, right? Big time. Okay, so for those of you in the room, we're going to break up in pairs. So we're going to do, here to begin is Courtney. What? There are a lot of Courtneys. Courtney and Ben. Natalie and Jennifer. And then we've got Flavio and Javier. I don't know, why am I? Okay. Phelan and John. Oh, we're breaking you up. Joyce, that's good. Joyce and Ernesto. Right? Your name again? I forgot. I'm sorry. Jean and Steve. Okay. So we're going to work in pairs. You might want to spread out a little bit because I know last time it was kind of noisy, hard for people. So feel free to, you could even go into the dining room and we'll go get you. But just, feel free to move around, use the space. We got a big room. Move your chairs around so you can hear each other. And you've got a good 15 minutes. Yeah.
But it's nightmare. So bad.
I'll have to check it out. I'll have to see it. I can remember that.
It was just like a week, and I'm like, there's no one last right. It's okay.
That much.
And she's
So
like,
it's nice to have a little.
All right, we're gonna go at 10 minutes, 11:10. We'll end at 11:10. Okay?
good. Beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I think so. There's.
Yeah.
Right, of course, what are the downsides of it?
Yeah, so I started, yeah.
Western psychology, some studies of gratitude. I believe it was associated with depression.
I enjoyed that. I was just like,
Our brain has negative factors.
I know that's one of the best things. Ever, but I mean,
Bad
I should argue.
things, like good to balance that out, like. For myself in my life, what I noticed, that when I feel like I'm having a hard time, I feel very confused. And if I practice gratitude, it reminds me, my life is consumed by other beings, right? I even have like, there's only oxygen on the planet because of hundreds of thousands of years. Plant life, right? So.
Oh, nice. I mean, just
And forget about even all the generations of humans and proto-humans that came before me to have this life now. Yeah, so that I didn't see, but.
Yeah, I think it shines a light.
I think it does,
The brains are so focused on.
make me less
it's
selfish.
really cool.
They're literally less self-centered, right? Again, it's not just,
Yeah.
it's not all about.
Yeah. I think continually doing that.
Okay.
That's
It's all we do.
It's not bad. Yeah.
I live in Black Rock area, but
Actually,
allergies, I'm not saying.
No, because we said it got cold.
Yeah, no, it's the next week. Yeah. Questions? And what are the benefits?
Yeah, no, actually, to be like, to actually like.
Hey, pretty much, right? Everything about the whole thing, rewriting, just what you need, and sounds good. Yeah.
That's where it's actually.
Right.
They're not like vibes, most, isn't vibing. Sunshine.
Right.
Right, so I think that's like.
Wow.
It's something Carol's been proud to experience.
Yeah,
Like,
and the.
Flavia and I speaking.
I feel like is that,
Yeah.
for lack of a better
It's like,
word, like
it's
a
such a
sustenance.
place, it's not-
I'm
No,
gonna
it's
well,
honest.
you get AI points, so.
I did last year. This is why.
My experiencing it. Any kind of tragedy, you know, stuff like that, you know, somehow kind of be more like that.
Sure.
Now I can.
Yeah, so I mean.
So it's funny you say that. Too. Like, I don't know, 25 now. And it's I go to 20. So,
But yeah.
I had like my first test. I did great. Did my super. Eight grade better than it's just like the and it was.
That's not that goes towards practice.
We're kind of switching the script, right? Where instead of feeling
Yeah, I also
Staying there.
read from words, and I knew this is intuited, that it's like.
trying to get that, like keeping something.
Moments
And I
that
remember
kind
like
of would
being
have just.
just like I feel bad.
People,
And I had the realization like in meditation like I know this is something.
So I guess that's it, it's like being branded.
The fact that I realized that the thoughts happening. I'm not. That's my fault. And because I can do something about it. Even it's about way of.
Right.
But it was emotional because I did
Yeah.
I would love to say something like take responsibility where I felt that. Because it's just my family, people, and it's like. I feel and it comes from meditating on things like kind of this thing.
will they take it out on you?
Oh, yeah. Focusing on it. Learning interaction.
Right. Yeah, no, like
Oh, yeah.
I still like, I suppose negative sense we might call that greed. But I think there's also like, I'm sorry to get a little political, you know, capitalist mindset of like always you can be like, yeah, like need more. Like what you have is not a competition, right? It's like life is a struggle, it's a competition.
It's literally like yeah.
You know, I think if I.
Appreciate not forget the person, but or maybe not so much forget the person. Appreciate the last thing.
Yeah,
I think it's that part that I got flipping the script.
Yeah. What was the last question?
That was it's very good.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm grateful for else to tell that.
Anything.
So I.
Please go ahead.
That's already.
Yes.
Unbelievable.
Right.
It's like the.
What if other things?
Over being.
Yeah.
You're
You're right.
We'll
find out.
Wait, catch the alcohol.
Not really.
Right, right. It's not true generosity, because you're expecting something.
Yeah.
Right.
I get angry all the time.
You're totally right.
Yeah.
I think it's very much the same because I kind of think that's
This
kind of
respect,
like.
right, when they're talking about respect, there's part of you that feels, that's what I'm saying,
Yeah.
right? Like you're not acknowledging me as a human and the effort and the time and the
Right,
energy.
yeah.
I not put into this.
Yeah. So misunderstands.
I was saying, you know,
Like, when I get you were saying about, correct me if I'm.
I always feel like, you know, they're not
Like, okay,
someone who
I'll
might.
take.
I often feel like, you know, I've done with doing something. Like, I'm not going out of my way again for this one.
The night is not.
Yeah.
So it's a relationship. Done. Very much
Sound like,
her relationship that I have.
yeah, like The time and energy wasn't even acknowledged or appreciated. So like, why am I keep that weird? Right, or I tend to, I really thought of like, I'm thinking of just one example in particular.
So I feel like something
Like, there's no please, like, that's the thought I have. Yeah.
Usually misunderstanding
Like, what does it mean? Right.
Yeah, you're getting
Yeah, right. But I kind of then ended up negating them, right, like, other than thanking them. Next time. Right, right. Oh, you know, like this, I'll try it your way, right? Like. So I can't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're getting the same thing, right? Oh, you're not taking-
Yeah.
Not being the lowest.
What's like, it's like, talking about it, appreciating help. And like goodness.
So that's where it's kind of like. That's like, now I know.
I take that.
It really does. No, it's.
Well,
I mean, they won't let it say, I got I definitely experience how that is.
They'll think of themselves as basically.
But there is.
So I actually put like
This.
a paper towel. I actually keep a paper since he told me that, I can't.
Right.
Like after.
Yeah.
I
That's right, it's not a internal flaw in you.
Okay, like coffee. And then it dried up and I just left it. It's like that's.
But it's either.
You are.
That's outward to me, that's what I'm saying, that's very is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Evidence that they all feel something. So, and then trying really hard to do it myself.
Like, okay, I'll go, you're dragging me here. You're dragging.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I think we're out.
Oh, here we go.
Making yourself.
Are we still in the room?
I can still hear you, but I maybe we're back in the main group.
Oh no, I think Annie just joined us.
Right.
Yeah, so I was gonna say, so we can hear what she can hear. But I was gonna say, Scarlett, responding to what you just said, Scarlett, I think that when I think of my own mother, and I think of all the times I've hated my mother because whatever. Oh, I think we're out of the room.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're okay. We're okay, Annie. We're still in the room.
Yeah, I can still hear you.
You know, I think relationships is so hard, right? It's like, you know, maybe.
Richard, can you hear me?
Maybe it's like the ass to go shopping, right? And then he'll appreciate it. And he realizes like, oh, wait a minute.
Oh, I rubbed us, okay.
I actually need these things. And yeah, no, it's nice that golf like before, right? Now I actually about to spend my own money. I don't have the money to buy.
Look, I'm just reading more about that.
Right, right. Like if when I go out to dinner with my son, like I always feel like right? And he always offers. And he offers, right? Because if he would just like, thanks, Bob, I kind of feel like, you know,
You guys, to wrap up your discussions. Right, she's thinking values.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, thank
Oh, that's Caitlin. Caitlin's one of the people that sits that bowl like most of the open months ago.
She's a force. No, she's a force.
Oh, of course. Great sentence. Pardon me? Jeannie.
Gene, yes. Sorry. Sorry.
Let me find you a list. Just get to know us. Please go. None. I'll listen. Okay, that's my friend. Thank you. Yeah,
Okay, so thankful to everybody who makes the Zoom platform work. It's actually a really amazing technology. If you guys had trouble in the chat with the breakout rooms, can you just send me a message or something so I can learn from this experience? I know I dropped somebody from a group. Yeah. But yeah. Anyway, okay, so I hope that was a good discussion. And I heard a lot of excited. Am I recording? Yeah, it's still recording, yeah. But don't worry, nobody can hear.
No, did you try to do last time before?
Oh, yeah, it's recording, yeah. I think so, yeah. It's the recording, so. Yep. We're gonna do the guided meditation now. Okay. So sit comfortably and think of all of the meaningful dialogue that you've just had, and we're going to bring all of that energy, all of those thoughts into this meditation so that we can live the experience of feeling grateful. So we'll turn our attention to our breath. Take a few nice, long, relaxing, deep breaths. Releasing any tension. So what does gratitude mean to you? Is feeling grateful a duty? Something that we feel obligated to do? Or is it a real simple pleasure? Is it that cursory, perfunctory, thank you? Or is it an authentic feeling? Does gratitude depend on being fortunate? For example, receiving a gift or enjoying some kind of special occasion. Or is gratitude something that arises spontaneously, kind of naturally? Or as we've been talking about, is gratitude an emotion that we can cultivate intentionally, that we can practice? Do you know someone who regularly expresses gratitude in a deep way? Their gratitude, their appreciation. Think of somebody specifically in your life. Are they in a good situation right now? Or are they making the most of a difficult situation? And how does their ability to be grateful affect the way they are? Are they someone that you enjoy being with? And do they inspire you to become more grateful? So with that in mind, we'll take a minute to just identify things that we are grateful for. And so we'll begin by focusing our attention on something that it could be something that we're wearing. Doesn't have to be, but just think of something that you're wearing, your shirt or your piece of jewelry, whatever it might be, and examine it closely as if you're seeing it for the very first time. Noticing the details, the texture, the weight, the color, whatever. And why did you choose to wear this object? And how did it come into your possession? And what purpose does it serve? Practical, aesthetic, or sentimental? Reflect on how it might bring comfort or joy to your life. Now think of all the people or other living beings involved in creating it. Picture those who crafted its parts, designed it, the people who taught them their skills. And not just the artisan or the designer himself or herself, but imagine their families, their loved ones, their communities, the unseen network of lives that supported their work. Consider the materials used to make this object. Where did they come from? Who gathered and processed and transported them? Thinking of all the individuals involved in bringing this object into your life. Can you feel a sense of gratitude for their contribution? Even though we'll never meet them. Then shift your focus to something natural, like a plant, a flower, a tree. And examine it carefully as if encountering it for the first time. Noticing the color, the shape, texture. Well, as many details as possible. Think about the roots, the stem, the leaves, the petals. How did those come into existence? Think of the sun, think of the rain, the soil, the wind, all of the insects. Think of the birds that transport seeds. Reflect on the interconnected web of causes that brought all of those conditions together. How would life be without the beauty and support of the natural world? So just reflect on beauty, the intricacies of the natural world, all living beings, human beings on the fragile little planet Earth. Enveloped in the darkness of the galaxies. This tiny little planet Earth. So precious. So fragile and vulnerable. So beautiful. Just make that resolution from the bottom of your heart that you'll do everything that it takes to protect, preserve, sustain all of the lives that depend on this tiny planet Earth. No matter what makes our life meaningful. Is cultivating the good heart that creates the relationships that will make all of this possible. Okay. Anybody have anything to share in meditation or something from your breakout group discussion? Or any questions?
I guess I was kind of thinking about meditating on like when you brought up the example of taking the galactic look and looking at the Earth universally, just understanding how incredibly fragile that all life is and how vulnerable all life is, and how thankful I am that despite all that fragility, I'm still here.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was thinking of, the coming generations, right? The next generation. Thought of having something to transmit. There's got to be something left for Gen Z and all the rest. All you guys and younger, future generations. Jennifer?
I was thinking how practicing gratitude kind of automatically leads to an understanding or a feeling of interdependence. So,
Yeah.
causes and conditions, right? None of us are here alone. We're only here because of other beings.
Right. And that opens the heart and makes you think of, the love and compassion that arise really naturally. Anything else? Anybody online? As I fiddle with this a little bit more. I've lost my chat. Yeah. Big chat. Okay. Here we go. Okay. So the next topic of our final session is going to be loyalty. So that'll be interesting. Good segue there, loyalty. So the dedication of merit, so from all the positive energy that we've accumulated from thinking about respect, forgiveness, gratitude, and all the rest, all of these tools that we have in our toolkit, so to speak. So this is a dedication from Lama Zopa Rinpoche. And he says, due to all the past, present, and future merits collected by me, all these three-time merits collected by numberless sentient beings and numberless Buddhas, may any sentient being whom I see, just by seeing, hearing, remembering, touching, and talking to, just by that, any sentient being who sees me, just by seeing me, just by hearing me, just by touching me, just by that, may all their sufferings be pacified immediately. And may they achieve all the happiness. May they achieve omniscience, the pureless happiness. And may we all continue to walk the path to be that person. Let's get there, okay? Because I know I'm not there now, but I'm going to keep trying, all right? Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.